All right, guys, we got this. Let's go. Gun wide trip sweep. Close X go. On one. On one. Ready?
Ready.
What's up, guys? It's Pick'em with HuddleGG, and in today's video, we're going to talk about disguising our defensive coverage, and we're going to break this video down into 3 sections. At the beginning here, we're going to talk about the importance of disguising our defense and how this can be beneficial for us. Then we're going to talk about a simple way for us to disguise that defense. And then at the end of the video, we're going to talk about a more advanced tip on disguising our coverage. So make sure you stay tuned for the whole video. But with that being said, let's dive right into it. And again, first we want to talk about why we should disguise our defense. And this isn't something you have to do every single play, but it is going to benefit you the higher level your opponent is. Because again, we don't want them to know what we're in on defense, right? So what do I mean by that? If we just come out in a normal defense, let's say cover 2 man, and you're playing a higher level opponent, they're going to know what defense you're in based off the alignment of your defense on its own, right? So if we were on offense here and we looked at the defense, and you see we have a 2 high safety look, we have the outside corners pressed and shaded to the inside, this is immediately telling me it's cover 2 man. You can see we look at it, it's going to be a cover 2 man style defense, right? If our opponent comes out in Tampa 2 or a cover 2 zone style defense, as an offensive player, I see still that 2 high safety look, but now those outside corners are about 5 yards off the ball and they're shaded to the outside of those receivers. So again, as an offensive player, I know this is cover 2. Same thing with the cover 4 style defense too, right? If they would go to a cover 4, as an offensive player, I see those outside corners 7 to 8 yards off the ball, still a 2 high safety look. My initial thought is this is a cover 4 defense, and this is going to stay the same for 1 high safety looks as well. So cover 3 sky, you can see that they will rotate to this 1 high safety look. And same thing with cover 1 hole. Now these two specifically are very close to one another, cover 1 hole and cover 3. But you are going to see a little difference here with the slot corner to the left. And AntCap did a great job explaining this in detail last week in his YouTube video. So make sure you go check that out if you have not seen that already. He talks about determining the difference between man and zone. But again, you see that slot corner to the left. This is cover 1 hole. If we would go to a cover 3, you're going to see him take a step back into the outside there. So again, the higher level opponents are even going to be able to notice the small differences there between cover 1 hole and cover 3 sky. So like I said, it's very, very hard to trick your opponent if you're just allowing the defense to align in a default manner, because again, all of these defenses are going to have a tell. There are certain defenses that have a little bit of uniqueness to them, but the vast majority of plays, you can tell what the defense is in based off the alignment. Okay, so how can we change this, and how can we make sure that our opponent doesn't know what we're in? Because again, if they know what we're in before they say hike, they're going to be able to pick us apart. So what we want to do here is we want to go to what's called base alignment. Okay, so to do this, the easiest way, there's a couple ways you can do it. The easiest way is going to be to click your right stick in before you pick your play to bring up your coaching adjustments, and then under auto alignment, instead of default, we want to go to base. Okay, now you can switch auto flip on or off. This is something that depending on your formation, if you're in a nickel set, you may want to keep auto flip on. If you're in something like dollar with 2 slot or dime normal, something like that, you could turn this off and make it a little bit easier on yourself when it comes to adjustments. So we'll just turn that off for now. But let's say we come back out in that same nickel over cover 2 man that we just talked about. Now that we're in base aligned, if we look at the defense, right now it's a 2 high safety look with those outside corners about 8 yards off the ball, right? So again, this doesn't look like a cover 2 man, right? Both those middle linebackers are aligned to the center of the field. This doesn't look to me like a cover 2 man initially, because again, we're using that base alignment to our advantage. Now what you'll see here is if we audible to a Tampa 2, the only thing you may see change is those outside corners may take a step or half a step in or half a step out, but they're going to stay at that same depth. Again, here you can see cover 2 is going to look very similar to cover 2 man. If we go to cover 4 quarters, again, same exact look as cover 2. But again, your opponent's not going to know that until they say hike. Same thing with cover 3 sky, right? Instead of having that safety rotate to the middle, now we're going to be able to have this same 2 high look in the base alignment, but now we're running a cover 3 style defense where that 1 safety is going to rotate down after the snap. Again, I'll show you same thing with cover 1 hole here. Again, same 2 high look with those outside corners about 8 yards off the ball. Okay, so again, this is going to be the easiest way for us to disguise our coverage. Now, I did mention there's two ways you can really set that base alignment. The other way is to actually start out in default alignment, and you can make a call once you get out onto the field, and you can make it base, but I'll show you why that's not always the best route to go. So let's say we just come back out in cover 2 man, and we want to audible to base align once we get out, right? So if you push Y, you can see on the left stick, if you push that to the right, it's going to say base align. So if we would do that, we can now base align, and we're going to get the same look that we had when we came out in base alignment, right? Now, the issue with this is if we're not quick with it, right, and we come out on our play like this initially, and our opponent notices that we're in, oh, he's in cover 2 man, right? We see exactly what he's in, and we base align too late, our opponent's already going to know what our stock defense was on that play, and it's going to be harder to confuse them at that point. Okay, so again, the only way to make sure your defense comes out in that base alignment and you don't have to do any adjustments once the play starts is just by going to your coaching adjustments and going to auto alignment set to base. And like I said, if you're in a symmetrical defense like 4-3 even 6-1 dollar, dime, normal, something like that, you're going to be able to go auto flip off as well, and that'll help out with our adjustments. So again, just for reference, one of the more popular defenses this year in multiple years past as well is dollar, and they're going to base align and they're going to press as well. So what you're going to see is every single time your opponent comes out, they're going to baseline, they're going to press like this, and it's going to give us the same exact look, whether they're in a cover 4 defense like this. Let's say they were in a cover 3 lock, they would baseline and press. Again, it's still going to look the same pre-snap for us as the offensive player. Same thing with a cover 2 drop, they would baseline and press. But you can see that all of these defenses, obviously they're different types of coverage shells, but they're all going to give us the same look as the offensive player there, simply because of that base align trick. Okay, now let's talk about a more advanced way that we can disguise our coverage, and this is something that's been very, very popular this year. It's been popular in years past as well, but it's definitely ramped up this year more than it has in years past, in my opinion, and that's going to be what I like to call it pre-snap motion with our defense, right? Specifically our defensive backs. So for this, I do like to have auto alignment set to base as well. This will work in default for most play calls, but you'll see there is a little bit of a difference if we don't. So again, we're going to want to start out in base so we can use that same tip we just talked about. And then again, if we're in a symmetrical defense like dollar or something that has the same amount of players on each side, right? We just want to have auto flip off as well, just to make it easier. But what we want to do is we want to find plays that have pre-snap movement with our defensive backs, right? So the most popular one you're going to see is double safety blitzes or double safety go at $3.32 here, where the safeties are going to walk down pre-snap. So if we come out on this play, double safety go in dollar, what you're going to see is those safeties are going to automatically walk down, okay? I don't have to do anything to make that happen. The nature of this play call is going to have those guys walk down closer to the line to begin with, okay? Now the trick here is obviously we're in a cover 0 blitz in this specific play call. Once we allowed that motion to occur, right, and we pick this play call that has that pre-snap motion with our DBs, we can now audible to something else. So let's say we want to go to a cover 4 drop defense. If we now audible to cover 4 drop, you can see that we have cover 4 drop on the field now. We're not in that cover 0 blitz, but we remained in that same alignment here. Again, only people that move those outside corners took a half step in. That's really the only movement you're going to see here. We can do the same thing if we would go to something like cover 3 lock, right? So here we're in a cover 3 defense, but we still have that safety walk down. Again, they're not going to go back to their original positions because we started out with the walk down, and then we can audible to our different plays, right? Even if we go to a cover 2, right? We're in a cover 2 now. We have that same safety walk down look, and you can do this with any coverage. You could reset the play. If you do reset the play, they're going to walk back, and then in game they would now walk back down. So you may see that if they ever do go back, if you reset the play or something like that, they will walk back down. But again, once they walk down, you can audible to these different coverages, and now you're going to have the ability to again make it look like you're in this double safety blitz look with those safeties walking down. But now we can utilize our audibles to really adjust and make the opponent have to read everything after the snap rather than reading it before the snap. Okay, and like I said, this is anything really with pre-snap motion with our DBs. So another one that you may see people do a lot is this free safety zone blitz. So again, this one, the one safety is going to walk down. But if we go to audible, now we're in a cover 4 defense, but but you can see that safety still walking down. So this is a way that you could utilize this tip to have a one high safety look, but now we're going to obviously be in a cover 4 defense rather than the original cover 3 blitz that we had called. Right now, you can see we could go to a cover 2 defense as well, and we have this same exact look. So your opponent's not going to know what you're doing until they say hike, and that's the key to everything in this video, right? If our opponent doesn't know what we're doing until they say hike, it's going to make it harder on them. It's very, very easy to play offense if you know what your opponent's in, right? So again, make sure you understand that it is those, it's not anybody that's blitzing, right? Typically when you're going to see it is those safety pre-snap movements, right? So like I said, dollar is one of the more popular ones you're going to see in the game, but you can see here, if we come out in dime normal, we're going to be able to really replicate the same thing with this double safety blitz call, right? So again, this is a dime normal instead of dollar. We have those safeties walk down. We now have the ability to audible to a different coverage. You can see now we're in cover 4 quarters. We did not change anything with the alignment here because of that safety walk down trick. So again, make sure you add this to your arsenal. If you're not already using base align, definitely do it. Again, you don't have to do it every single play, but you want to throw it in there to disguise your defense, confuse your opponent. And then once you start to get more comfortable with normal base align, then start to add in these safeties or these pre-snap DB movements to really force your opponent into some confusion and force them to struggle to get any reads on what you're doing before the play is called. And if you're interested in getting better at Madden, make sure to join our free Discord by going to HuddleGG/Discord. Have a great day.